Dust motes dance in the fractured sunlight, each a tiny golden spark in the heavy, humid air. A wind, ancient and tired, whispers through the colossal jungle, carrying the scent of damp earth, decaying leaves, and something else. Something sharp and dry, like desert bone. It snakes across the border where the forest and gnarled, moss-choked roots surrender to a wide, sun-bleached expanse of sand. Leaves, brittle and brown, break from their branches and spiral down, settling on a ground that trembles with an unspoken tension. The usual chorus of the jungle, the chirps of insects, the calls of unseen birds has been snuffed out, replaced by a profound, expectant quiet. Small creatures, shadows in the undergrowth, have already fled. They sense it. A deep seismic shift is coming. Something primordial is about to break the stillness. The very air thickens, charged with an energy that makes the fine hairs on your arms stand on end. A ripple disturbs the surface of the sandy clearing, a subtle distortion against the stark white canvas. It is not the wind. A paw, impossibly large and tipped with claws like shards of obsidian, presses into the ground. The sand cracks beneath the immense weight, a web of fissures spreading outward. From the shimmering heat haze of the open expanse, a titan emerges, its form materializing as if from the sun itself. It is a saber-jawed cat of legendary scale, 3 times the size of any ancestor etched in stone. Its coat is a tapestry of gold and black stripes, muscles coiling and uncoiling like immense serpents beneath the fur with every silent, deliberate step. Its tail, long and thick, sways with hypnotic grace, a perfect counterweight to its terrifying bulk. 2 colossal fangs, curved like twin sides of polished ivory, descend from its upper jaw, glinting with lethal promise in the harsh light. Its eyes, burning with a molten gold intensity, scan the tree line, pupils narrowed into predatory slits. It exhales, and the puff of air is a cloud of hot dust, a testament to the furnace of power within. It is a creature born of sun, sand, and hunger, a walking embodiment of silent, patient death. From the shadowed maw between 2 colossal, root-bound trees, a shape detaches itself from the gloom. It is not an animal that steps forth, but a piece of the ancient earth given life. An enormous gorilla, a titan of bark and vine, heaves its colossal frame into the light. Its fur is a matted tapestry of black, gray, and the living green of the moss that clings to its shoulders and back. Dirt and old leaves are embedded in its coat, a chronicle of a life lived as one with the jungle. Scars, deep and white, crisscross its chest and arms, each a story of battles fought and won. Its arms are like fallen trees, ending in hands the size of boulders, knuckles scarred and callous from a lifetime of walking the earth. It rises to its full, staggering height, and its chest, a vast expanse of raw power, expands and contracts with breaths that sound like the rumbling of a distant earthquake. Its eyes, dark and intelligent, are filled with the wisdom and sorrow of ages. The 2 legends lock eyes across the fragile boundary of root and sand. The world seems to shrink, the vast jungle and the endless clearing reduced to the few dozen yards that separate them. The air crackles, thick with a tension so palpable it feels like a physical force. The saber-jaw lowers its head, a low, guttural growl vibrating from deep within its chest, a sound like grinding stone. It shifts its weight, its massive paws testing the stability of the cracked earth. The gorilla plants its feet, knuckles digging into the soft soil on its side of the line. It does not growl. Its power is in its silence, its sheer, immovable presence. The ground beneath them hums, a low-frequency vibration that travels up through the roots of the trees and across the dunes of sand. This is not a meeting of beasts. It is a convergence of epochs. The patient hunter of the open plains faces the eternal guardian of the deep wood. The sun-bleached sand and the dark, tangled forest have chosen their champions. A leaf, severed by the unseen friction in the air, flutters down between them, and as it touches the ground, the moment is broken. The explosion of motion is absolute. The saber-jaw cat does not run, it detonates. In a blur of striped fury, it lunges forward, its powerful hind legs propelling its immense mass with the speed of a hunting falcon. The sand erupts behind it, thrown into the air in two spiraling plumes. At the exact same instant, the ancient gorilla roars a sound that is not merely heard but felt, a concussive blast of sound that rips through the jungle, shaking leaves from their branches and sending terrified birds scattering into the sky. It doesn't charge. It meets the assault head-on, slamming its two massive fists onto the ground. The impact sends a shockwave through the earth. Roots as thick as a man's leg tear from the soil, and the ground itself ripples. The two forces collide. It is not the sound of flesh meeting flesh, but of mountains crashing together. A shockwave of pure energy erupts from the point of impact, blasting sand, leaves, splintered wood, and dirt into a chaotic, swirling vortex that momentarily obscures both titans from view. Through the settling cloud of debris, the nature of the battle becomes clear. It is a perfect, brutal dichotomy of power versus technique. The saber-jaw is a whirlwind of lethal precision. It moves with a terrifying agility, a blur of muscle and claw, using its speed to flank, to dodge, to find an opening. Its claws, each the length of a human forearm, flash in the light, scoring deep gouges in the gorilla's thick hide and sending chips of bark and moss flying. It lunges and retreats, a dancer of death, its twin fangs aimed always at the throat, the prize its every instinct screams for. It cannot match the cat's speed, so it does not try. It uses its environment as an extension of its own body, ripping a young tree from the earth, roots and all, and swinging it like a colossal club. It smashes the ground, creating tremors to unbalance its foe. It grabs, it smothers, it crushes. Each blow from its fists lands with the force of a battering ram, shaking the very bones of the saber-jaw, who must rely on its agility to avoid a direct, finishing impact. The arena of their conflict is torn asunder. The neat border between forest and sand is annihilated, churned into a chaotic wasteland. Massive impacts from the gorilla's fists and thrown logs send ancient trees toppling, their final groans echoing through the violated jungle. They crash down, splitting lesser trees and flattening the undergrowth, leaving behind gaping wounds in the canopy. The saber-jaw's explosive movements and lightning-fast turns kick up blinding sandstorms, great swirling clouds of grit that choke the air and reduce visibility to near zero. The ground is a scar, a pockmarked hellscape of craters, torn roots, and churning sand. Monkeys shriek from the high branches, lizards scatter into cracks in the earth, and a herd of deer bolts through the trees, their terror absolute. The environment itself is buckling, breaking under the strain of a struggle that belongs to a bygone, more violent age. In the heat of the maelstrom, with both combatants bloodied and heaving, a flicker of movement catches the gorilla's eye. Behind a newly fallen log, its bark still splintered and fresh, two baby monkeys, no bigger than his hand, tremble in terror. They are trapped, their path of escape cut off by the raging battle. For a fraction of a second, the gorilla's ancient protective instinct overrides its battle rage. Its focus shifts. Its guard drops. It is a minuscule hesitation, a heartbeat of distraction, but in a fight between legends, a heartbeat is an eternity. It lunges, not with the finesse of its earlier attacks, but with a desperate, brutal strike. The gorilla roars in agony, a sound of pure pain that momentarily drowns out all else. The strike is deep, crippling. The guardian stumbles back, its left arm hanging limp, its strength now compromised. Pain ignites a new fire. The injury has not broken its spirit. It has unleashed a deeper, more primal fury. It beats its chest with its one good arm, a deafening, thunderous rhythm of defiance that promises total annihilation. Across the ruined earth, the saber-jaw gathers itself. It too is wounded, breathing in ragged, heavy gasps, its striped coat matted with blood and dirt. It tastes victory, but it knows the final price is yet to be paid. Both titans, pushed to their absolute limits, let out a final world-shaking roar. It is a declaration of war, a promise of a definitive end. They charge, their forms converging near the edge of a sandy cliff, a sheer drop into a ravine of sand and rock. The ground trembles under their final, desperate assault. Roots tear, the sandy precipice begins to crack and give way under their combined weight, and with all the strength left in their ancient bodies, the two giants unleash everything they have in one final, cataclysmic clash. The gorilla, fueled by a surge of desperate, protective fury, uses its immense upper body strength and its one good arm. It catches the saber-jaw's mid-air lunge, absorbing the devastating impact. For a moment, they are locked, a frozen tableau of violence at the cliff's edge. Then, with a final, guttural heave that echoes with the power of the earth itself, the gorilla uses the cat's own momentum against it. It twists its body, a feat of impossible strength, and flips the saber-jaw over its wounded shoulder. The great cat's golden eyes widen in shock as it sails through the air, its body arcing over the precipice. It lets out a final, frustrated roar that is cut short as it disappears from view, tumbling down into the sandy ravine below. The gorilla stands at the edge, its colossal chest heaving, its form silhouetted against the setting sun. It looks down into the abyss, then turns its gaze back to the two small monkeys, who are now hesitantly emerging from behind the log. Its duty is done. The forest is safe,